Hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Ahmad. So in this video we're going to continue on with paper 2 from the CIE IGCSE course. If you check out the previous video, I've completed the document production part and we're now going to be moving on to data manipulation, which is databases. So paper 2 is a 2 hour and 30 minute long practical paper and we are doing a May-June 2020 paper. So this was the paper that would have taken place last summer. Obviously it was cancelled because of COVID. So let's go down to page 6 to start off the database task. Okay. So before you start, you can go to your source folder and you can make a new database file by right clicking, going to new and clicking on Microsoft Access Database. I've already created a file and I've opened it up. So right now there's no tables here, so let's have a look at the question. So you're now going to prepare some reports. Dates are to be imported in a format of date or day, month and year. Okay. So we're going to use a suitable database package and I've obviously chosen Microsoft Access. And the first thing that we need to do is import the file j2120race.csv. Use the field names and data types shown below. So let's have a quick look here. Okay, so text. Birthday will be in a date and time format. Race time will be in a data time format. And then license will be Boolean. So it's really important we check the data types when we are importing a CSV file. So to import the CSV file, what you need to do is click on external data. Now depending on which version, you need to try and find text file. So if you're using the previous version, a text file may be up here somewhere. So in this version, you click on new data source, from file and then text file. And then what we need to do is browse and select the first CSV file. So go to your source folder and let me change to details. And this is a file that we need to insert first. Okay, so double click, press OK, next. The next thing that we need to do is to select first row contains field names. So these are field names here, and then each row below is a record. Once you've done that, we can go to advanced. Check the date is in the right format, so it should be day, month and year. And the first thing I'm going to do is change the Boolean field. So the license should be a Boolean and it should be displayed as yes or no. So let's change this to yes or no. And then the next thing I'm going to do is check all of the fields. So entry ID to cat code should be text. Yep, that's fine, no problem there. Then we got date and time and 2 numbers. Yep, and an integer, that's fine. Race time is date and time, and then we should have text. Yeah, race time is date, and then we got text, and then points and race number should be integer. Yep. And we missed out this one here. Let me just see what this should be. Yeah, that's fine. So the only thing that we've changed right now was the Boolean field. Everything else looks fine. So let's press OK. Next, and let's now set the primary key. So the primary key is going to be entry ID. So remember, the primary key is the field which contains a unique value. So it looks like it's going to be the first field, entry ID. Each record has a different value, okay, which is unique. Finish. Once you've done that, the first thing that we need to change is the Boolean to display as yes or no. So you go to Home, Design View. Let's go down to the bottom. Click on yes or no, and then change the format to yes or no. Okay, so that's fine. Save your changes. Don't think there's anything else to do. Check the dates Okay, so it should be day, month and year, and then obviously time is different, and we just go ahead. Yeah, so that's the first table inserted. Let's now go down to, actually before we go down, save the data. For evidence 5, place in your evidence document a screenshot showing the primary key, field names and data types used in the table. So for this evidence, what we need to do is to go to design view, and we need to go to the top. Let's see if I can drag this down. No, so I might have to take a couple of print screens. Okay, so here we can see entry ID has been set as a primary key. You see this little key here. We need to show the field names, the data types. So let me take a print screen, paste, and what I'm going to have to do is to just take another print screen to get the final fields in. Now the mistakes some people will make is they will print screen this. What we need to print screen is this table here showing the data types. Okay, let me print screen the last field as well. Well, let's just click here. And then we can also show the format has been changed to yes or no as well. And it's really important you make the print screens nice and clear. If you have to resize them, then resize the print screens. Yep, so we can see the license field has been changed to yes or no, and the format is also yes or no. If you come to here, you can show it sometimes as a tick box or on or off, true or false. So basically, yeah, that's in the right format. Okay. The second CSV file that we need to import is going to be called JH12120 categories.csv. Okay, so to import a CSV file, again, we can follow the same principle. Let's close this table down first. Go to external data, and then what you need to do is find text file. Okay, browse. So we need to insert a file ending in categories. Press OK. Next. The first row contains field names. Let's just have a look at this data here. So you can see all of the text, all of the information is text. So we don't really need to change anything in the data types. There's no Boolean fields or date and time fields. We can go to next, next, and a unique field for each record will be the cat code, which is the third field here that we can see. Go to next and finish. Okay, so this is now the second table that we've imported. Yep, looks fine. Nothing to change here. Save the changes. Close them both down. Okay, so now what we need to do is to make a one-to-many relationship between a cat code in a categories table. Okay, so it's going to be this code here with, what do we need to link it to, and a cat code in a race table. Yeah. So here you can see these codes are repeating many times. So this is a many part. Here the code will only appear the once. Okay, so these codes are all different and unique for each record. So to make the relationship, what you need to do is go and click on Database Tools, Relationships, add both the tables, make these boxes a little bit bigger. So cat code from the categories table is going to be linked to the cat code from the race table. Okay, so I'm going to take this print screen because normally we are asked to take screenshots, yeah, to show the the type of relationship between the two tables. So this shows it's going to be a one-to-many relationship. So let me first of all take a print screen. Well, actually what I'm going to do is click on create. Then I'm going to click on a line here. Yeah, so this shows we have a one-to-many relationship between this primary key field and this foreign key field. Okay, so let's take this print screen. This is now evidence 6. We've just created this relationship. And again, crop off any parts which are not necessary. And then we can obviously resize once you're happy. Yeah, so save the changes. It's a nice clear print screen. You can see the relationship type and the fields included. Click on close, save the changes. Then if we click on this table, or categories actually, you can see the one-to-many relationships now. So this one record has many records linked using the primary key and the foreign keys. Right. Okay, so that's that done. Okay. 22. Enter the following details as a new record in a race table. So sometimes in previous papers they may ask you to create a form to add a new record. In this case we just need to add the record at the bottom of the table. So scroll down to the bottom, and obviously you'd have to enter this data one field at a time. I can copy and paste. So just make sure you make no mistakes in entering this information here. Normally the new record that you do enter appears in the report that we later will be making. So we've entered last name, now we're doing first name, club, cat code. Okay, what I'm going to do actually is pause this video, and in the meantime Okay, so welcome back. I've now finished entering this data into my database. So let's have a look here. So yes, then we've got 116290. Just going to double check, and then it should be 5 1 15 26. Yeah, 461. Let me double check the date. 25 9 1958. Okay, yep, I'm happy with that. So make sure you do check, and obviously make sure you enter the data exactly shown here, including capital letters as well. Okay, so once you've done that, you save your changes, and we've come to the first query and report question. So question 23, it says, using fields from both tables, produce a tabular report that, okay, and you can see the bullet points are in different orders. So before we can make the report, we need to make the query, and in the query is normally where we select the fields and we filter the data. Once the data has been filtered, then we will create a report, and that's how the data will look once it's finished or presented. So right now we have lots of records. Okay, in this table we have 800 plus records. So you don't want to dive straight into the report because you'll be printing for days. So let's have a look. First of all, we need to select the fields first, and you can see I've already annotated the questions or the questions. So Q or query in this color, and then green is the report tasks. So every time we start a query, we start by selecting the fields. So let's go to create query wizard, press OK. We need to make sure you select fields from both tables. So we need to start off with first name and then last name. Gender and then club. let's see if gender's in categories, and then race, let's go to club. License, points, ability. And the fields need to be in this order with data and labels displayed in full. Do not group the data. So this second part comes in the report. Okay, so once you get to this window, we need to enter the title that's going to be at the top of your report for your query as well. Okay, so yep, so you can see query 2, include only the text, top ability females, as a title at the top of the page. If we do it at this point, then normally this title will also appear at the top of your report as well. So again, make sure you make no spelling mistakes, you enter it exactly as it's shown on the paper. Finish. So here we have all of the fields that we've selected. We have 835 records. Okay, so we've done this part here. I'm just going to highlight this part as done. We've got the title in, but we may need to come back to this, so let's just leave that. Now in the query we can filter the data down. So ability is going to be either elite or expert. Okay, so if we go to home and design view, it's really important you enter your search criteria one at a time. So elite or expert. If there's another piece of data you wanted to find, you can include another or, but in this example it's just going to be elite or expert. And you need to enter the data where it says criteria below the tick for that particular field. So let's click on run. So we can see expert and elite, and we are now down to 184 records. Okay, the next thing that we need to do is to make sure the gender is female. Obviously we have males here, so go to gender. Under the tick, in the criteria row, enter female, and we are now down to 43 records, and you can see all of the genders are female. And then I think the last thing was license is going to be yes. So go to design view, license is going to be yes. Click on run. And we are now down to 31 records, and double check if all of the licenses are yes. So before we move on, this should be expert or elite, gender should be female, license should be yes. Save your changes, and we're now ready to move on to creating a report. Okay, so save your changes, go to create report wizard, select all of the fields from this query here, next, 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 and do we have a sort? Sorts the data into descending order of points. So remember, when we do the sort on a report, this field will appear first. We need to put it back into the right order. So the points comes at the end, just before ability. Right, so next, is the report going to be portrait? Yes, it is. So we can leave this, and we need to put a title back in. Finish. Okay, so here's the report. Obviously the fields are not in the right order now because the points needs to move just before ability, and you can see hashtags, not all of the data is showing. So we need to make sure the fields are in the right order. All data and labels are displayed in full, and data isn't grouped, which is the case. So I'm going to highlight this part as done because we do have the title at the top. We need to make it fit on a single page. So to do this, we need to go into layout view. So click on view, layout view. Get rid of this here. I'm going to move ability down here first of all, and then if I press Control, so you select a field name and then a data by pressing Control on your keyboard, then we can simply drag this piece of data across. So at least I know now the fields are in the right order. Now we can just move them across and make them all fit. Make sure no data is cut off. So manual was the longest name, you can see here, and it fits in. I'm not even going to try pronouncing this name, but that's the longest name there. Yeah, okay, so let's start moving gender across. Okay, so now you can see all of the fields fit. If you go to print, preview, and let's zoom out. Oops, why have I done that? Or we can go print preview like this as well. And just have a look to see if all of the data is shown in full. The fields in the right order. Yeah, I'm happy with that. And the sort, you can see, is in the right order as well. Right, save the changes. And the last thing we need to do on this report is to make sure your name, center number, candidate number are on the report. Doesn't say where, it can be at the top, it could be at the bottom, it's not being specific. So once you've done that, we print off the report. So this report was fairly straightforward. Let me just include my name. So to include my name, make sure you are in design view, and I'm going to select the label up here and just write my name at the top here. So for center number, I will use 5678, and then for candidate number, I will use 1234. Okay. If you want to make this text any bigger, you can go to home. You can change the color of the text if you wanted to. You can make it a bit bigger, and then obviously check the print preview. Yeah. You can see here we have a problem. It's kind of gone on to the next page. So what I need to do is just basically move this across like this, this across like this, close this down. Yeah, that's fine. It's not fitting onto another page. One page of one. Yep, so that's the first report finished. Okay, so let's now move on to the next question. And again, it's going to be a question where we have to create a query and report, but this one looks a little bit more complicated. So let's just see what else we have to do. Yeah. So again, identify what's going to come first. So remember, before we make the report, we have to create a query, and in a query we normally filter the data, but in this example here we're going to be creating a new field. Okay, so what I'm going to do is just click on comment. I want to get a text box. Okay, and change this to red. So let's have a look at this. So we're going to contain a new field called lap time. I prefer to write out or annotate the question before I move on. So the new field is normally followed by a colon. Okay, so it contains a new field called lap time, which is calculated at runtime and displayed as an integer. This field will calculate the average time per lap. So we have to multiply race time. So we know this is a field because it's italic, and you can also check here. Yep, so we need to multiply this race time, and because it's a field, we need to include it in square brackets. What am I doing? Close your square brackets, and it's going to be multiplied by 1440. Okay, and then divided by the number of laps. So you can see laps is in italics, so it's a field. You can double check, yeah. And then what we need to do is put laps in square brackets. Okay, and we need to make sure this is formatted to display as an integer format. Okay, so is that all one? We'll have to do that separately. So it's really important that you get into the habit of annotating your question paper. So now we've done that. Okay, whoops, let's go up. Let's go down, should I say. We've got each bullet point identified as a query or a report. Okay, I've annotated this new field. So this is a formula that we need to use. Anytime we use a field, we need to use these square brackets. Okay, so whatever this is will be divided by laps. Okay, the club includes the text bike. So let's have a look at club, for example. So because bike is part of a number of words, it could be in the middle, it could be at the end. So for this one, what you need to do is to, let's just get a comment again. You need to write bike like this, so in stars. So it's going to basically find anything that contains bike. Okay, let's get rid of that now. Jan is 40 more, which is fine, and then this is going to be not, so event rank. Let's have a look at event rank. Is it on one of these fields? Yeah. So it's basically not going to be DNF, is it? Yeah. And that's fine. You can write this like this, not DNF, or you can simply write not. Okay, so this is the same as basically writing this. Right, let's make a start. So again, with the queries, we need to select the fields. Okay, so let's close this down. We go to create query wizard. Make sure you select the fields from the two tables here. Okay, yeah, so fields from both tables. The mistake you could make is to select the fields from the previous query. Okay, so what's the first record that we need to, or field that we need to add? Let me zoom out slightly so we can see the whole thing. Right, so it's going to be last name. I'm just going to close this down. Get my highlight pen again. So last name, first name, and gender. Must be the top. Okay, yeah, categories. There we go. Age, category club. Event rank license. Okay. Race time and lap time. Okay, remember, yeah, lap time is the one that we're going to create, so that's fine for now. And we can keep going to the end, and at this point, let's use the same title that's going to appear at the top of your report. Okay, so if we go down to query 2, include only the text bike club veterans at as a title at the top of the page, formatted. So the formatting we can do in a report, but let's just take the title for now. And it's nice when you label a query with the same title as your report, because you can see this was a previous query and this is the report which is attached, and they're both the same title, so it's easy to make sure you know which is for which. So this query is obviously for this report. This one will be for the next report I'm about to make. Finish. And we are on 135 records again. So we've done this part, these two, query 1 and query 2, where we basically selected the fields that we wanted. We've included a title, as you can see here now. So we've got this query title here. Okay. Now we're going to enter the search criteria. So the club includes the text bike. Okay. So if we go to home, design view, and let's put bike and stars. So this is going to find anything that contains bike. Yep, so we've got bike here, we've got bike there. Okay, that's fine. We're down to 164 records. Okay. Age underscore Jan is 40 or more. So that's basically going to be greater than or equal to 40. So this field here, greater than or equal to 40. Click on run. We're now down to 45 records, and this one is not going to be DNF. Okay, so there's two ways of doing this. You can either write it out like this, not DNF, doesn't matter if it's not capital letters or not. So DNF. If you click below, you can see it wraps around in speech marks, so you don't need to do that yourselves. Can you see any DNFs here? No. Done. Save the changes. Now let's go to design view again, and we are going to now create the new field. So the new field comes here at the end, and let's look at the question paper. So the first thing you need to do is write the name of the field, new field, followed by colon. If you're using any field names are normally italic, then you need to put them in these square brackets. So this is going to be basically race time multiplied by 1440 and then divided by the number of laps. So if I just copy this, it saves me typing out again, and then click on run. Okay, and this needs to be shown as an integer. So what we need to do is to click on the field name, go to property sheet, go to format, and I'm going to go with standard, or let's go with general number, no decimal places. Let's see if that works. No, so I think it was standard number. Let's go for standard. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so let's just highlight what we've done so far. So we've finished with the search criteria. We've created a new field and we've formatted it as an integer, so a whole number. Okay, so all of the query tasks are now done. This we'll come back to. Now we need to go to the report wizard. So save your changes. Just double check before we go forward. So we've got the new field. Okay, the club contains bike. This is 40 or more. Can we see 40 anywhere? Yeah, 40. And what's that? Yeah, and this does not include DNF. Yeah. So save the changes and go to create, report wizard, select all of your fields including lap time, next, 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 and what's the sort on? So the sort is going to be ascending order of gender. and then there's another sort as well, and then descending order of age underscore Jan. So you can change this to either ascending or descending depending on what you click. Next. So we've done that. So remember, we need to put these fields back in the right order. When you do the sort like this, it puts the fields at the front of the report. So the page orientation is going to be landscape. Let's just put a title back in again. Sometimes the title stays actually. I think that's when you're basically working from fields from the same table. Okay, let me just copy and paste this back in. Okay, and this is what I was talking about before. Because you named the query with the same name, it's quite easy to identify this query is for this report here. Okay, so as you can see, the fields are in the wrong order, not shown in full, so we need to go to layout view. Okay, let's close this down. What did we do the sort on? The sort was on gender. So gender comes after first name. So I'm going to select or press select to select the field name and the data, and what I'm going to do is just move this across here, and then the gender, let's just move that across after first name. So that's now in the right order. And then this age underscore Jan comes after gender. So for now, let's just make some space, move category like that. And now it's time to move everything across, make sure it's all spaced out and nothing's cropped off. Fields are now in the right order. I think this is overlapping the first name field, so let's just move this across. Double check if all of the names are appearing in full. Yeah, so looks fine so far. So remember, I select the data and then press down on Control on the keyboard to select the field heading. Move that across. So it's really important you do take your time with this, making sure the fields are in the right order, the data is shown in full. And then finally, flat time. So go to print preview. Zoom out if you want to. So this is fine. If it fits one page wide, that's fine. If it's on many pages tall, that's fine as well. So yeah, fits one page wide. So that basically means all of the fields are fitting one page wide. You may have records which go across 2 pages. So that's normal. The fields are in the right order. Data is not being grouped. Let's format this text here at the top of the page. So it needs to be black, 28 points, and in serif font style. So what we need to do is go to design view, just highlight the text here. You can change it here, but I prefer to just go to home, change this to black, 28 points, and serif, so we'll go for Times New Roman. And let's just make this a bit bigger. Okay. All the text is fully visible now. We need to calculate the average age and display this as an integer below the age underscore Jan column. So if we go to layout view, let's highlight this column here. To work out the average, let's go to up here and we can select average. it's not displayed as an integer. So if you go to design view, you can click on here, format or design, property sheet, and format we can again select standard, no decimal places, so 52. And what we need to do is have a label average age of veterans to the left of this value. So if you go back to design view, you can click on this icon here to add a label to the left. So let me just make a box. Okay, that's fine. So we've done that. And finally, we need to include your name, center number and candidate number in the footer of the report so it appears on every page with no other data displayed. Okay, so you have the page footer here. They don't want you to show anything else, so we can delete that, and we can include your name here. So it's going to be name, center number and candidate number. Let's click inside. Center number we can use 5, 6, 7, 8, and then candidate number 1, 2, 3, 4. Then again go to print preview. If you go to the bottom of the page, here's the details on this page, and then the details on this page as well. Here's a label to the left of this average here, which is shown as an integer. Okay, so we've come to the end, and make sure you check for your changes or check for the common things before you print. So are the fields in the right order? Have you entered the title and formatted it properly? Okay, are all of the fields shown in full? Once you're happy with everything, you've done your checks, then you can go ahead and print. If you do print in the exam and you do realize after you've made a mistake, then you should be able to go ahead and print again. Okay, so for evidence 7, place in your evidence document a screenshot showing a database formula used to calculate the average age. So this is basically this. Again, crop off the parts which you don't need. Make it nice and big. And then again, crop off the parts which are not necessary. Save your changes. And we are done. So this report actually was worth 15 marks, and if you check out the previous report, this one was only worth 6 marks. Same principles, you can see 2 questions. The reason I write out Q's and R's first, query or report, is so I know what to do first. So remember, we always start off with the query, and with the queries you select the fields. You then may enter search criteria to filter down the data, and then the report is basically how the data is represented. So remember, if we just go to normal view, this is your report, and this was the query where we select the fields and filter the data. Okay. So before we finish with the database section, question 28, export the report created in step 24, which was the last step, the bike club veterans, okay, in a portable document format, so PDF, and save the exported file into your work area. So we need to right click here, click on export, select PDF, and then make sure you go to your source folder, and then you can save. So click on publish, click on close. Hopefully you go to my source folder. There's the report saved as a PDF file. Yeah, so let me double check if there's anything else left to do. If I go down, you can see, yeah, it's fine, that's what we wanted. Okay, just let me double check one thing. Does it? Right, I'm just double checking. Yeah, that looks fine to me. Okay, so that's pretty much the database section done. Okay, place in your evidence document a screenshot to show the exported files saved in your work area. I think here what I was checking for was some of these records are missing. Is there another page? Oh yeah, I'm silly me, there's 2 pages here. Yeah, so these are the records. Actually, nothing's missing, ignore me. For the evidence document, let's take this print screen here. So I was just checking to see how come some of the records were missing, but actually they weren't missing. So evidence 8 is evidence that you've saved the PDF file or exported the query into your source folder as a PDF, and make sure you can show the file type here. Let me save the evidence document. Okay, save your databases, and we've come to the end of the database section. Okay, so please drop your comments below, like and share, and good luck in your exams if your exams are taking place in October, November. Okay guys, thank you very much for your time. Bye bye.